When a society like ours is veering away from the truth, those who tell truth will face fire. That type of society goes after truth tellers more than anything because those who tell truth threaten their power. In times like these, there's no substitute for courage. If courage had a face, it would be that of Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. He's not only had to face assault from those on the opposite side of the political spectrum, there are those even within his own party that see him as a threat and Florida as a threat. For those of you who missed it, earlier today, Florida signed into law HB 5, one of the, if not the most restrictive law regarding abortion, all the way back to 15 weeks. And this event, it was about an hour long. By the time it was done, there was not a dry eye in the place. I had to use every trick the military taught me to remain stoic. It was one of those events you need to go watch. It's at the Florida Maquis homepage under Lives. It is absolutely amazing, but it dovetails with a video I had been working on, and I hadn't made up my mind completely as to whether or not I was going to do it or not because it's controversial. John 10:10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. We are commanded to live the abundant life, even when things like Joe Biden come along. It's not a reason to go run off into the hills and hide and dig out dens in the earth and wait for the end. But nevertheless, that is what's being pushed right now on this platform. It is one of the strangest things that I've seen, and I need to make a video about this, and I need to reveal to people what's really going on here. YouTube is pushing videos that show people ambling out into the wilderness and basically digging their own graves, making them kind of nice, crawling in their little holes, and just absenting themselves from life. And these videos have gotten hundreds and hundreds of millions of views. They call them dugout shelters. But the way they do the videos, those of you who've seen them know what I'm talking about. It's very, very odd. They're not teaching people to build log cabins. And they're not going out there and surviving just on what they can find in the wilderness. They're bringing all sorts of modern tech with them to cut down trees and to dig holes. But basically, they're creating crypts and tombs. Revelation 6:15-17, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Look familiar? Now, just to be clear, I have no problem with people learning survival skills. You go out, learn how to make a lean-to, make a simple shelter if you have to overnight and you weren't planning to. You see, that's one thing. That is one thing. You get up the next morning, you can take that simple shelter and you can scatter it about the woods, and it would be as if you were never there. That's not this. What these guys are doing takes, and they do an incredible amount of editing, takes months and months to do, to dig these holes and create what basically, if you look at it, they put a little stove down in there, and they usually make themselves a little bed. They're building basically crypts they can live in until they die. And here's the crazy part about it. There's no talking. Some of these videos are half hour, 40 minutes long, and all you hear is the chopping of wood, the splitting of wood, the sawing of wood with a handsaw, the crackling of a fire. They usually cook something, the tapping of a hammer. And if you think I'm kidding about the views, hundreds of millions of views, this particular one, 167 million views in 3 months. And in one of them, he literally says, tomb survival shelter. 2 days solo on a what? I mean, to do what they're doing, they're not digging little holes. They're digging huge holes in the ground. And making these teeny tiny little kind of ramshackle fronts of a cabin. It's disturbing and bizarre is what it is. And they use all of these ASMR tricks. This is the psychological aspect of this that caught my eye. Because you literally don't even have to have, like I said, there's nobody talking. All you're really doing is listening to the sounds of what they're doing and observing, and it's not complicated. Dig hole, place wood in hole, make wall. I mean, it's not hard to do. But always at the end, they will have brought something from the real world with them. See, this isn't all about getting back to nature. They don't go out and hunt. They'll cook something and they'll put it over the little stove they have, and they'll have a little candle going, and it's all seems so cozy and nice. This one in particular, Life and Craft Wilderness, only has 106,000 subscribers. That's roughly what I have, and I think I have like 130,000 subscribers. Videos. Hiding in a huge dugout during a snowstorm. 27 million views. 27 million views. And like I said, go look at these. No talking. They might as well be wearing masks. All sorts of them. Athos Outdoor Prospector. Building a Yoda's hut. 11 million, 6.8 million, 6.4 million. People are starting to get into this stuff, and it's literally warned of in Revelation. Now, there are some out there that are kind of reasonable, like this particular guy. He's found a rock that's got kind of an opening, and he modifies a few little things around it to make it someplace he can stay for a night. I'm not talking about that being a problem. That's just, taking advantage of what's out there. You see, there's a reason they built cabins above ground. There's a reason we live in homes that have vapor barriers and cement foundations and raised flooring and insulation and drywall and masonry. It's not what they're making it out to be. It is bizarre. The detail work is just unbelievable for basically what is a decorated crypt. Because when you look at this one, you crawl down in there, you have your little stick, and the thing goes behind you. Somebody could lock you in there, a piece of cake. I mean, with just literally one heavy log, and you're done. You're trapped. It is absolutely insane. It's the opposite of, and this is my point, the opposite of abundant life, which is what we are experiencing in Florida right now. The last 2 years, I know everybody's been up in arms about Biden. We have had such a move of the Spirit and a resurgence of good Christian moral value that's been brought to the forefront in Florida in the last 2 years than I've seen anywhere in my lifetime. You can actually feel it when you go to the grocery store. You can feel it when you're out and about with people. There is a joy. There is a peace. There is a harmony and a happiness and a hope for the future that has absolutely nothing to do with Washington, D.C. And the idea of going and running out to the wilderness and digging a hole and filling it full of a few little things and then literally taking the earth and covering it over the top of it as if you weren't there. A few more scriptures as we leave. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15 and 58. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Now this is, I guess this is KJV. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. A psalm of David. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? This is my Father's world. Period. That they might have life and have it more abundantly. Not talking about this. This is just a picture of the opposite of what God wants for us. And I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.